Hello people, I am Sky Demolisher and welcome back for another From the Collection Fridays, a series where I take things from my collection and show it to you, my viewers. And this week it is my Black Series Boba Fett helmet. Now this is a marked improvement on the much earlier release of this kind of helmet, which I think was just in the normal Star Wars line. Pretty sure it was sort of early 2000s. It was a much lighter green than this. I do own it, but I'm not going to do a comparison between the two here. I will eventually do a video on that one too, but this one's cooler, so rule of cool, this comes first. As you can see, it is very well detailed. Now it does have the dent in the top of the helmet, like it should. I believe that the plastic for the visor is much better in this one than what it is in the old one. The only one thing on this that I would say is probably better on the older one than this one is this little grill back here. That's actually quite see-through for this one, whereas on the earlier version of it, it's a lot more well covering sort of thing. You don't really see who's inside as well. And the other difference between, like, the size of the helmets and stuff are completely different. This, I think, was actually cast from an original mold of the proper helmet from the Empire Strikes Back. Pretty sure that's right, it was the Empire Strikes Back one. So the actual T-visor itself is more realistic to the character than that earlier version, which, much like the Clone Wars ones, had a visor that was about that thick through it. So you had much better visibility in that one, but it was sort of a lot more see-through. And this one you can actually see a bit through the back. But I think if you're actually wearing it, there's a lot less that you're visually seeing. And it does actually have like a metal sort of rivet thing here, unlike that earlier version. Now, the gimmick for the original one is that it had like lights and sound, or sounds and all of that sort of crap. This one doesn't have the voice track things, which honestly never really sounded like Boba Fett or Temuera Morrison, or was it Jeremy Bulloch was the original one? They didn't sound like the character. But the viewfinder on this one is a lot better. Now for this one you've actually got to like pull off a little cap from the top. And the original one had a viewfinder you pop down yourself, whereas this one, hopefully I've got this right and I'm not in the shot too much, it will pop down. You'll see that it lights up sort of like on the inside there to track your thing, and then you've got the alternating lights. It's fairly comfortable as a helmet to wear. However, you really can't see the viewfinder through the actual helmet itself. But the paint detailing on this is just immaculate. As for padding and stuff, you can see that it's got these little sort of rubbery pads down the bottom, and it's got a similar sort of helmet structure on the inside as the earlier ones and a lot of the current Black Series things. It does actually have, you know, like molded detail all through the inside, and you will be able to see through. Actually, if I pop it over the top, you might be able to see through. So it sort of gives you an idea of what your vision would be like in this thing. I'm also pretty sure that this one is much lighter than that older one. So I honestly cannot remember where I got this from. It was either Toyco or Mighty Ape, I think. And I paid it off over like a couple of months before it was released because I pre-ordered it. As far as I'm aware, you can still get your hands on it, and in a couple months a alternate version of this will be available, which is like the prototype. It's cheaper, but the prototype one is like, I think, a solid white, virtually a solid white helmet, and I'm unsure whether or not it's actually got the dent in it. But it should have a similar sort of feel and the similar viewfinder and all of that. So I think this was about $250, and the upcoming prototype one, I think they're around $230. So it's sort of up to you. I would have to say that if you're looking at doing like a Mandalorian cosplay or something, these would probably be a great thing to get for it. Of course, if you're doing anyone other than Boba Fett, you'll need to take the dent out. I would say Google how to do that. I know that some people use, I think it's like a Sculpey or something to fill it in, and then Bondo and sand it off. If you're experienced with that sort of thing, feel free to do it. If you're not experienced, there's lots of cosplayers and crafters, particularly in New Zealand, that would be happy to do it for you if you asked. It will cost, but at least you know you're getting a good job. But the prototype one is probably the better of the two if you're planning on doing something else, because it's white, so you can put a colour into it a lot easier than this, which you will need to either strip it and then repaint it, or paint it like white and then paint over it again. All around, it's a really cool helmet. I don't wear it much, it's more of a display piece because I like displaying my helmets. And even more so since I started watching Rexing Around. I'll leave a link down to their channel below, because I've really enjoyed their stuff, and recently on their Instagram they've been showing off people's helmet collections, and that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed. But all in all, I actually really enjoy the banter that these guys have. So it's like a YouTube series, and I think also a podcast. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.